Today, we set to explore the beautiful Yokosuka, Japan. We'll go through the Verny Park to show you some amazing things in the park. You will also see the Memorial Museum of Verny located just off the Shioyuri and the Yokosuka JR stations. Let's enjoy this adventure together. This anchor is a naval monument of Kaigo no Ishibumi, which represents modernization of Japan at the times of isolation in the 1800s. You can see a Japanese naval flag here. This is the battleship Yamashiro monument. I will talk more about its significance later. Here are the different statues and different naval monuments. These statues have different designs and all are unique. This ship is a monument of the warship Yamashiro. I'll talk more about this ship and its significance later. By the way, the Verny Park was opened in 1946 and named after the French officer and naval engineer François-Léonce Verny, who came to Japan in 1865. He was a consulting technologist for the Tokugawa shogunate, a military government during the Edo period from 1600 to 1868.
Ohayou gozaimasu, konnichiwa, o genki desu ka?
Strolling through the Verny Park, because I filmed this in the early January of this year, you can see that the flowers in the garden and the cherry blossoms are not yet blooming. They usually tend to bloom in the late March to early April, and it's beautiful when they do. Everything is green, pink and red. This is the dock on the port of Yokosuka. In the distance you can see the Japanese dry docks 2 and 3. From time to time you will also see Japanese ships and Japanese subs of the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force or the Japanese Navy that are docked here in these waters. Japanese tourists also come here by ferry to visit Yokosuka quite often from different parts of Japan. The water is usually beautiful and sometimes you can even see jellyfish. Most of the time the water is calm here, but on occasion when it gets really windy about once or at most twice a week, the water gets rough during this time period. But nevertheless, it is still very much enjoyable to gaze, stare in the distance and ponder deep questions of the universe.
They got all the flower names here. In the spring it's gonna be beautiful.
This is a peony, or the white wings, which is one of the few blooming flowers that we found in the park. I can't wait for the whole garden to bloom. Proceeding to the open area, we reach two of the most important statues in the park. The first statue is of the François Verny himself, who helped jumpstart the Japan's modernization between 1865 to 1876 by taking charge of the Yokosuka naval arsenal construction. Verny also helped with the infrastructure projects. He was an administrator and a constructor helping the Tokugawa Bakufu government during the Edo period. The second statue is of the Oguri Tadamasa, who was the statesman of the Tokugawa government and Japan's first delegate to the United States. He promoted the construction of the Yokosuka naval arsenal. Unfortunately, later he was beheaded by the Japan's Imperial Army for promoting armed resistance. This is where the statues are located, in this big open space with the beautiful views of the water and buildings in the background. By the way, you will find vending machines everywhere in Japan, whether indoors or outdoors, and look at how huge this vending machine is. Look how wide it is. It's super wide. Have you ever seen anything like this? In Japan, you can buy either hot or cold items from the vending machines, ranging from teas, coffees, soda and even soups. These go for about 150 to 200 yen, or on average about $1.50 US. To pay, you can either use money, coins, credit cards and even a subway card like Passmo. Spectacular, isn't it? Do you have anything sophisticated like this in your country? Please leave your comments below and let me know. In this open area, people walk, bike, run, relax and talk. Finally, we reach this beautiful Verny Park fountain. Sometimes it's decorated, sometimes it's lit up, but always it stands, and when it flows with the water, it's beautiful as ever. Now, it is always fun to say Kamioka. This is Corsair, a little restaurant and a coffee shop right in the park which offers beautiful atmosphere while you enjoy your meal. You can get hamburgers, curry, beer and more for a fairly decent price. Next, going through a lot of these flower beds, you see that a lot of them are not blooming yet since it's only January, but wait till the spring and everything will bloom. This is a really nice and peaceful boardwalk with wonderful views. Ahead in the distance on your right you are looking at the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force or JMSDF, where you can see a Japanese ship that looks like a carrier but is actually classified as the Izuma class destroyer. I'll talk more about this ship in detail later. Let's go ahead and continue on the boardwalk. Finally, we have made it to the end of the boardwalk to the exhibit of the Japanese battleship's Mutsu 4th main gun, located right in the Verny Park. Mutsu was built by Yokosuka Naval Arsenal in the early 1900s at the end of the World War I. It was a Nagaro-class battleship built for World War II. Mutsu was 708 feet or almost 216 meters long. This gun is an impressive 16 feet in length and there were 8 of these guns mounted on Mutsu. In addition to these, Mutsu also had 4 41cm twin guns, 18 14cm single guns, 4 12.7cm twin DP guns and 10 25mm twin AA guns. Trust me, these calibers are huge, and in comparison your typical police pistol could have a 9mm caliber, which equates to 0.9cm caliber. Therefore, Mutsu's 41cm caliber is over 45.5 times larger than your 9mm caliber. One more fun fact, the top speed of Mutsu reached 46.8 kilometers an hour or 29.1 miles per hour. Unfortunately, in June of 1943, while anchored, a disgruntled employee caused the detonation of her aft magazine, which sunk Mutsu with a loss of 1,121 people. This is a clock tower with 4 bells attached to it. The clock tower stands next to the Mutsu's 4th main gun. There are a lot of photographers in Japan with some serious cameras and some serious lenses. Let's check out that boat in the distance. Once again, this is the Izuma class destroyer. This destroyer is also known as the Izumagara Goikei-kan, is a multi-purpose helicopter carrier, which is Japan's Maritime Self-Defense Force's largest surface combatant ship. In 2018, the Japanese cabinet approved converting these ships in order to be able to carry the Short Takeoff and Vertical Landing Aircraft or STOVL STOL F-35 Bravo. There are only 2 active ships of this class in Japan. It is 248 meters or 814 feet in length and has 19,500 tons of empty displacement. Next, we met the squishy sounding dogs. Heading to the Verny Commemorative Museum or the Memorial Museum of Verny, we discovered a lot of ship-related artifacts. Fortunately for us, this museum was free and offered a lot of cool knowledge. Unfortunately, most of this knowledge was in Japanese. This is the 3-ton steam forge hammer. It is actually huge, as you will see here shortly. This is a half-ton steam forge hammer, which is also pretty big. These hammers were driven by steam and used for stamping, forging, and shaping metal. Looking at this half-ton or 500 kilograms steam forge hammer, it's huge and weighs over 1,100 pounds for my viewers from the USA. This half-ton steam forge hammer is known as the single frame hammer, which in 1865 was actually shipped from the Netherlands. This hammer is from the Yokosuka's arsenal or the shipyard as it is known now. This single-framed hammer is one of the 2 steam forge hammers that exist in Japan today. This hammer has been relied upon for over a century in Japan. Now look at this 3-ton or 3,000 kilograms steam forge hammer, which is equivalent to over 6,600 pounds. This is a double frame hammer which was also shipped to Japan from the Netherlands in the same year of 1865 as the single frame hammer you just saw. This 3-ton machine is also from the Yokosuka's arsenal or the shipyard. This double-frame steam forge hammer is the second of the 2 steam forge hammers in existence today. By the way, originally only 6 were shipped from the Netherlands. Both of these hammers have been relied upon for over a century, and they did prove useful throughout the Edo period. These are some of the tools that were forged, like these hooks. This was an incredible mastery at the time. These are clamps that were used in the forging process to hold things. As you can see, they come in different sizes. All of this is Japan's heritage. This is the device where you have to step on so-called stool and rock yourself up and down in order to produce energy. At this time we were trying to figure out exactly how this machine operates. Here we realized that you needed 2 people of about equal weight to perform this test of generating energy in this experiment. This would be really fun for younger kids interested in STEM. Elliptical for you. Pump it. This is another device that illustrates the concept of using your own mechanical energy to produce electricity for something like this. Here, by stepping on the left and right pedal sequentially, you can see that the red weight is raised all the way to the top. Eventually, the red weight and then the green weight falls, producing energy, which makes the disc in front of you spin and the red light to illuminate. Isn't this pretty cool? Ichibanshi says, this is a smaller scale of so-called a 3-ton double-frame steam forge hammer simulation. By pressing the red start button that I just pressed to initiate the process, the system produces energy in this experiment and as a result lights up the LEDs. Of course, in this simulated example it does not forge anything like metals. This is another example of the hammer under the casing. This is an impressive battleship Yamashiro monument behind the glass. Yamashiro translates to the Yama, mountain, and the Shiro, castle, or the mountain castle named after the province. This ship was built for the Japanese Navy by Yokosuka Naval Arsenal in 1915, which was over 202 meters or 665 feet in length. Unfortunately, this ship sunk in 1944 during Surigata battle. Thanks for watching. And if you want to see more MUSEM videos, then make sure to follow, subscribe, like, and of course hit that bell down below so that you do not miss any of my new content. See you in my next video.